Hey everyone, welcome back to Code and Stuff with Aaron and Mike. I'm Mike, and today we're diving into one of the most fundamental concepts in programming, conditionals in Ruby. So, what are conditionals? They're basically how our programs make decisions. Just like in real life, when we're constantly thinking, if this happens, then I'll do that, code needs to make similar choices. Think about it. If it's raining, you grab an umbrella. If the store is open, you can go shopping. If you have enough money, you can go and buy yourself a new phone. Programming works the same way. So today we're going to cover comparison operators, the tools we use to compare things, if statements, how to make decisions in code, and logical operators, how to combine conditions. So get your VS Code ready, fire return and let's jump right in. So right here, I have connected to the code space we've been using earlier, Ruby Basics. I have created a conditionals.rb file, and we are going to get at it, right? And so to start with comparison operators that we're going to be using a lot, we have the double equals. Oops, that is not equals. This checks if two values are equal. We have this here, and this checks if two values are different. Pardon the red. It sees that I have an extension that makes it red if there's an exclamation point right after the pound symbol. We have our girlfriends less than and greater than that we're familiar with from our math days, and their inclusive cousins greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Right? And let's remember that the result of any comparison is going to be a Boolean, true or false, right? Because something's going to equal a thing or it's not. Something's going to be greater than a thing or it's not, right? There's no kind of middle ground. So let's see this in action. We have puts 5, 5. We run Ruby conditionals.rb, and we see that we get true, right? And that is our basic conditional. Let's do some weird stuff. Is 5 equal to the string 5? It is not, right? Is 5 not equal to 10? This gets a little tricky because now we're doing negatives and negatives, and you know that can get tricky. But is 5 not 10? It is not 10, so we have true, and then we can do stuff like 5 is greater than 3. Oops. 5 is greater than 3. Like we know this to be true. I'm going to run it. True. And for the last one, 5 is less than or equal to 5. It is because it's equal to. We run it one more time, and it is true. Awesome. So there's one classic mistake that will bite you in the butt at least once in your coding career. And that's the difference between an equals and a double equals. The single equals is for assignment. Remember how we do that with variables? It's telling, hey, Ruby, take the value on the right and put it in the variable on the left. Double equals, what we're working with here, is for comparison. It's asking Ruby, are the two of these things exactly the same? This is going to be the source of so many of your bugs. It's going to be crazy. So let's take a look at this in detail, right? The single equals, x equals 10. If we do a puts x and we run this, it's going to print out 10. Oops, need to save it. Here we go, 10. Whereas if we did something different, where you puts x equals 10, double equals 10, this is going to output something different altogether. Oops. I forgot to set x equal to 10. Let's do that, and we'll run it again. There we go. True, right? I think that we can see this here. So even seasoned developers make this mistake sometimes. The key to just remember is single equal sign is telling, where double equal sign is asking, not telling. All right. So now, the main event, if statements. This is where Ruby makes decisions for us. And I'm going to show you the basic structure of a if statement. It's going to look like this. If condition, and in here, is the code to run if condition is true. What does that mean? Let's do this. Let's keep that up there. And we're going to do age equals 21. And if age is greater than or equal to 21, puts welcome to the website. Right, and just going to comment that out. We'll run the code. And we see it says, welcome to the website. When we run this code, we see that because our condition is true. 21 is indeed greater than or equal to 21, right? So whatever is in this part here will run so long as the condition evaluates to true. So what do we do if we want to evaluate when the condition is false? Let us change our code. First we're going to change this to 18. And we have the if age is 21, puts one on the website. What we're going to add another conditional branch. Else puts sorry, you gotta be 21 or older. And we run it, and we see that. So when we run this, we clearly get sorry, you must be 21 or older, because 18 is less than 21. But wait, what if we want to check multiple conditions? That's where elsif comes in. In Ruby, it's spelled elsif, not elseif, like in some other languages. So let's expand this thing, right? So we're going to put this here. We're going to add this here. We're going to put elsif here, no e. Age is less than 2. Puts how are you even here. And else. Cool. And let's change the age to 1. Let's run it again. And it's like, how are you in here, right? So the thing is, so when we run this code, this happens because this first condition is false, so it doesn't run. We hit this condition, this one's true, then it'll print this to the screen and we're done. Once it finds a matching condition, it won't run anything else, right? So again, let's change this to 16, just a little different. We're gonna run it again, and it says, sorry, you gotta be 21 or older. We get, sorry, you got to be 21 and older because the condition in the if and the else if evaluate the true, evaluate the false, so the else, the catch-all is run. Okay? So remember, another thing to remember is Ruby requires an end to close our if statement. Forget that, we'll get a syntax error. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do another example. Let's have with strings. I'm going to leave the conditional up there. Name is Mike. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this from my notes because we don't need to watch me type. That's terrible. Right? And so when we run this code, we're going to get, nice to meet you, Mike. Why? Because our name isn't Oscar. Right? And I also want to notice here, you know, so this is something different. This here using the pound symbol and the squiggly braces, doing that is called interpolation. It's a way to include variables and strings. It's a lot easier to use than concatenation, which we've shown you in the past. Cool. So, got to kind of handle the if else statement. Let's move on to logical operators. Sometimes one condition is not enough, and that's where logical operators come in. So, let's get rid of this here. The two main ones that we're going to use are and. Both conditions must be true, and or. At least one condition is true. So let's see how this works. Copy and paste this here. So the first one, this and operator, and again, the reminder here is that both must be true. That means that this will run if our age is going to be 21 and the money is going to be over 50. So in this case, it's going to print out, you can enter the club and get a VIP pass because both of these are true. If the age was 18 and the money was 5,000, this would not work because we're looking for and. Right? Or it's like, hey, just one of these got to be true. If age is greater than 65 or money was 500, you get a discount. For here, we can see here that Like, so here's the thought. Like, will this pass? Well, let's check it out. Is 25 greater than or equal to 65? No, it's not. Is 100 greater than or equal to 500? No, it's not. So this does not print out either, right? Neither condition is true. One way to think of it is that double and, the and is strict, everything must be perfect, and the or is like, as long as one was good, we're okay. So let us do kind of like a more real-worldy kind of example here. Let's take a look. Oops. So password is secure hashtag password, and checks if the password length is more than 8, which it is, and includes that symbol. Yes, it is. It's going to say password is strong. Otherwise, it's going to complain. So what happens? Let's just run this just to see, just to prove that I am correct. Yep, password is strong, but let's change this. Let us do this weak, not wheel, but weak. Weak, there we go. And we run it again. And we see here that it says our password is too short and does not contain the required symbol, right? Something very, you probably run something very similar to this, log into a website for the first time. So, that being said, let us go and show you a more complicated example. All right, let me make this a little bigger. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause here, pause the video here, and try to predict what's going to happen. So I'll give you 5 seconds to pause it, and then we'll go. That's like 5 seconds. So if not, rewind, and let's run it. Let's see what we get. Let's see if what we get here matches your prediction. Oops, need to save it. My bad. There we go. Right, we get weather report. It's pleasant. It's quite pleasant today. It's the weekend. Good day for outdoor activities. Right? Cool, huh? And like, did you catch the last part here? We snuck this one in here. Did not mention, but we snuck it in there. This is a one-line if statement. In Ruby, if you put if at the end of the line for short conditionals, it's a nice readable shorthand, right? Puts, it's a weekend if it's not raining. And this is also kind of known as a guard statement because it kind of guards against certain kind of conditions happening. So, those are the basics of conditionals in Ruby. Let's kind of recap. We've got comparison operators such as the double equals, the not equal to, greater than, or less than. Those help us compare values. We've covered if statements that let us run code based on conditions. We can add elsif and else branches for more complex decisions, and we get our logical operators, the and the or, to let us combine conditions. Conditionals are the building blocks of program logic. You'll use them constantly as you write more complex programs. That's how your code makes decisions. So, if you'd like a little challenge, when we're done here, try running a program that asks for the user's name and age and then gives different responses based on their age and whether or not their name starts with a vowel. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment if you have questions or want to share your solution to the challenge. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.